Today, let's make scones, but vegan. Okay, marriage is all about compromise, and today my wife wants scones, so we're making scones. The first thing I want to do is mix up a flax egg, because obviously being vegan, we're not going to be using a real egg. And for that, I have a half tablespoon of flax meal and 1.5 tablespoons of water, and I'm just going to mix them together. And use a very small whisk to whisk it up. The flax meal is literally just ground up flax seeds. The golden ones is what I like, but any flax seeds will work. You just need to mix them together and let it sit to the side for a few minutes and it'll start to gel up. Then you want to get a mixing bowl. Now this isn't a huge recipe, but remember, you can scale up or down as needed. I'm using a sifter because it's really important. You can use a very small fine mesh sieve or something if you don't have a sifter, but we happen to have one, so I'm using it. I have 1 cup of all-purpose flour and 1.5 teaspoons of baking powder. And I'm just going to sift them together right into our bowl. The sifting helps to aerate them and mix them together. Not so much to keep out solids because, you know, modern flour is pretty good. I'm going to add in 1.5 teaspoons of sugar and just mix that around. Okay, I want to also use 1.5 tablespoons, I'm going to eyeball this, of vegan butter. And I wanted to keep it as cold as possible. That's why I waited till the last minute. Using my fingers, I'm going to just knead that butter into the mixture. It's kind of like when you're making biscuits, same idea. You want it to kind of look like cornmeal when you're done. What we're doing is trying to keep the butter kind of in chunks. That way we get a little bit of leavening from the butter as well as from the baking powder. Okay, checking on our flax egg, you can see it has a little bit of like a sticky consistency. That's exactly what we want. I have a 1/4 cup of milk. I'm going to add our flax egg right into that. Try to get it all in there. Give that a quick whisk. I'm going to add that to our mixture here. And I just want to mix this together. Should form a very soft dough. You don't want to overwork this, kind of like a biscuit. You really just want to keep it as unworked as possible while still getting a good mix on it. I'm going to just put a little bit of flour out on my board here, and I'm going to turn out my dough. It's the technical term. It's also just known as dumping it out. And I just want to give it a quick knead. I don't want to overdo it, just a little bit to get it to come together. So far, it's very similar to making biscuits. Just kind of layering it, if you will. That'll help too with the rise. So to roll it out, I want to get a little more flour on there. It's a very sticky dough. Let's just make sure we're covered here. Just lightly roll it out to about a 1/2 inch thick or so. I'm not going to be too particular about it. I just want to get it rolled out a little. Something like that. Now, I'm going to use my new knife. This is from Nakano Knives. They actually sent me another knife. This is the micarta knife. This is a little bit of this is one of their higher end knives. And as you can see, it's got a beautiful blade. I don't know how much you can tell from here, but it is gorgeous. Nice and thick, full tang, and the handle is very, very comfortable. As you remember, the mica knife that they sent me, the wooden handle, the studs stuck out just a little bit. The rivet on this one, it's much smoother. Very nice in the hand. I've been using this knife for about a week now. It's actually really, really great. The only thing that kind of is strange is if you look right here, I hope you can see it, the finish right there just looks like it could have been ground down a little bit better. That's the only real complaint I have. I don't know if maybe I got a bad copy. Maybe this is a new knife and this is just like their first run or something. I don't know. But other than that, really nicely balanced, very, very sharp edge. Just a beautiful knife. Love working with it. So I'm just going to use that and cut these down the middle. I'm going to make them a little on the smaller side, maybe. Let's cut triangles out as you're supposed to. As you can tell, I'm being so particular about the exact sizes of them, right? It's home cooking, people. Let's do one of those, and one of those. There we go. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7. Lucky number 7. Let me just go get a tray and we'll put these on. Now, I know somebody's going to be all kind of bothered that I didn't make them in a very specific shape or size or something like that. I don't really worry about such things. I mean, to me, you know, if you want more, have 2. I just don't see the problem in making them a little bit smaller. It means the serving size is a little smaller. It means a few less calories, you know? I'm just laying these out on my tray. The secret to cutting them out, though, is you want to just cut straight down. As someone pointed out, a couple of people pointed out in my biscuit video, don't turn. I was always taught to turn, but what they said makes sense. You seal up the layers and it doesn't rise as much. Okay, these are almost ready to go in the oven, but not quite. First, I want to get a little bit more non-dairy milk. By the way, that was non-dairy milk earlier. Every time I say milk, someone's always like, oh, that's not vegan, you used milk. Well, I mean a non-dairy milk, of course. So I'm just going to brush a little bit of that onto each one. Just kind of moistening the surface. It'll also help with browning just a little bit. There is some fat in this. It's a cashew milk this time. So there's a little bit of fat in there. That'll help to brown. And then on top, just a good sprinkling of sugar over each one. This helps to make it a little sweeter. Gives kind of a nice crunchy bite to the top too. And now, into the oven, 400 degrees for 15 minutes. Okay, they took a couple more minutes than 15. It was like 18 minutes, but we got a little bit of nice color on some of them, and I'm gonna let these cool and then take some pictures and make a fancy video so that you guys can see them looking all pretty and stuff in the thumbnail, and we'll be back once they've cooled off a little bit. And after a few minutes of pictures and cooling down and putting into a prettier plate for presentation purposes, we have scones. So let's check one of these out. Looks good. Let's break it open. Oh yeah, it's like biscuity inside. You can see there's still some steam coming off, but I'm gonna take a taste. Okay, it's actually nice and fluffy. It's pretty moist inside. It's tender. This is perfect. You could put some jelly or jam on this. You can put some syrup on it. You can put butter on it, whatever you want. So go ahead and make these. And thanks for watching. We'll see you next time on The Bistro.